Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 24th of September, comes to you from London. And we see again markets, quite a lot of red here, equity markets falling again. Dollar strength being a real key. So this is the dollar. This is my long-term, my short, medium-term, and my short-term view, weekly, daily, and 60-minute charts, and the corresponding point and figure charts with targets. And these tracker charts just follow where I go. You can do this on any data feed, of course. So I'm running on Thomson Reuters Icon. You could use Metastock Zenith. You can see I've got loads of different systems coming in to services coming into Updata, and that's the key. So we start by looking at the dollar. It's rising on that short-term chart, bullish above the cloud. We've got an upside target further 1.4% higher, and that's really the recovery point. This is looking quite like a bottom for the dollar, and interesting on the point and figure chart, we seem to be finding some support there. So dollar strength coming back. Looking at the euro, because of that dollar strength, we're seeing euro weakness, and the euro was in this sideways consolidation phase, and now it's broken down. So that's now looking like a top. So it was potentially a continuation pattern, now going the other way, bearish in the euro, start of a new trend potentially. Of course, the long-term trend is still bullish, and we haven't quite yet made it to bearish on the short term, on the medium term, but the short term is clearly bearish with a further 2% downside. So strong dollar has an impact across quite a lot of different areas. If we look at the yen, dollar yen is sitting at 105, so that dollar is strengthening. It was as low as 104, and the yen is normally quite a safe haven. Looking at sterling, we're really coming back here. We're sitting at 127. We were as high as 135 really just at the start of the month, so we've really come the way back. So it's quite a big move for sterling. Brexit fears weighing heavily, but dollar strength is actually the key there. And we don't have any more short-term downside targets, and there are some quite big downside targets hanging over sterling. And of course, as we get closer to Brexit date, that will be very interesting to see what happens. We do have these downside targets. Against the euro, we've got clearer downside targets. We're sitting at 109 at the moment. We have been as low as 107. So we are just seeing some volatility returning. And 3 weeks ago, we saw that big move in sterling. That's a precursor potentially to more moves. Taking a look at Bitcoin, we're sitting at $10,300. Not much change there. But the real story at the moment is what's going on with equities. So we saw the S&P 500 index down yesterday, and so we've got these downside targets hanging over us. We're still bearish below the cloud, so that's quite key. And the Nasdaq, we did see a bit of recovery, but we still are bearish below the cloud, so that's also quite key. Taking a look at the Dow, we were down 2% there yesterday. It's just starting to plumb new lows, so it's really quite a mixed picture. Tech is holding up, but a lot of second line stocks falling. The futures today, the S&P future is down 0.2%. The Nasdaq E-mini is down 1/3%. So we are just seeing that deterioration there, and the VIX volatility is up 3%, so the fear index is rising. This is bad for stocks, of course, and we're just nudging that 30 level again. It'll be interesting to see if we make a new higher high. We've even got point and figure targets here, so we are just seeing that VIX starting to return, that volatility. In the UK, the FTSE future is down 1.2%. The cash market in Germany, the DAX, is down 2/3%, just starting to plumb new lows there, and the CAC Quarante is down 0.75%. So we are just seeing a deterioration really in sentiment in Europe. The CAC making new multi-week lows there. Japan was down 1%, and the Hang Seng was actually down just 1.75%, as was Shanghai. Starting to look quite bearish here. Long-term bearish, which has been in that downtrend, but really now just starting to plumb new lows. The banking revelations for Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank haven't actually helped the Hang Seng. And we're seeing even China, after this sort of sideways move, that's now coming under pressure as well. So that's quite key there. And we've got this key support there to watch. We're just going to be careful of that. Looking at the Indian market, it was down 2%, and the Aussie market held up a bit better. down only at 0.8%, but having long term nowhere near going back to recovery. Resource laden stocks being hit quite hard. Gold falling back. So gold is not a beneficiary of a stronger dollar, so we are seeing gold pulling back. We've got downside potential here of about 10% on gold. The long-term trend, of course, is still bullish, but we are just seeing a bit of a breakdown in the price here, and we've got 3% downside potential on the short-term chart. Don't be surprised to see gold finding some support and then running again on the long-term picture. We did this in March with the second wave coming on coronavirus. We are seeing just a deterioration there, but that might become a safe haven asset, and we still do have these long-term targets still in place. Silver has been much harder hit. It's down 3%, and we see the weekly candle on silver. It's absolutely massive. So we've had really day after day of big falls there. So that's quite key as well. Taking a look at the energy mix now, Brent crude is sitting at 41.46. Just can't make up its mind. It does look like it's going to make a lower high. If we fall below 39.50 on Brent, that would be the lower low. So we're just going to watch that. And we are, of course, short-term bearish with downside targets activated. This 41.30 level is pretty key now for Brent, and that's really where we're seeing the support building in here. So we do need to be aware that there is a support level around that level, and we're just going to watch that as well. WTI sitting at 39.62, so back below the $40 mark, and bearish there short term with a downside target. US NatGas actually recovering quite a lot of ground. Had a big jump yesterday, so storage numbers yesterday less bad than feared. The week before they really produced a tough week. We saw that fall away. Strong recovery in NatGas, so that's actually looking a little bit better there. Coal is sitting at 59.50. It continues to look bullish, one of our bullish calls for the week. Emissions actually falling away. They have been below 26 in the 25s this morning. We do have targets into 25.40, 24, even 25.85. 25 is key support on emissions. That's the level to watch. We are very much in this trend at the moment. There's sort of the 25 mark and the 30 mark, and it's really waiting for the break. Gas prices have been strong this week. MBP front month is actually down 1% this morning, but it has been making new highs, looking quite strong there. And we were bullish gas on Monday, so it's continuing very much in that light. And we're seeing here TTF front month also just nudging new highs, not quite as bullish as UK gas. And if we look at winter gas in Holland, we're seeing here that's also just continuing its recovery, so that's quite key. Last of all, a look at German power. We're down 1% this morning, holding this €40 mark. 40.25 is a pretty critical level for German power, but we are still in this long-term recovery mode, potentially ascending triangle building here with a good upside target. We just have to watch that we don't hold below this 40 level, and of course 39 is key support there, we can see there, so we just have to make sure we don't fall through that 39 level. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.